excited. Hello, and welcome back to the Who Need One podcast. I am so excited about today. Before we dive into our guest for today, I just want to say July 1st, happy birthday to all us July babies. I'm excited about this month. It means beaches, summer school for kids. I mean, summer's out for kids. They're having a blast. And I'm excited about this month. I'm going to the beach next week. So, I was hoping for a beach bod, but the beach is getting, the body is getting this year. So, but just want to just say, welcome back. If you can hear me, say yes, somebody. But I'm pretty sure you can hear me. But oh hi, we got an answer. Bob, the Weismans are in town. Hi guys, y'all have a seat and enjoy yourself. Well, I think Teresa is going to sit up there. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. I am honored to have on Bob Weiseman. He's a director of athletics at Duke University. I knew when I started this podcast, I was definitely going to have you on if I could ever fit you in. So I'm so happy to have you here, Bob. I appreciate you being here, and we're going to talk a lot about the business of sport. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes, so much that goes on to get an actual team on the field. So we're just going to dive into some of the new eligibility requirements now because all our lives has been one first. Thank you for coming out, Bob.
No problem. Thanks. And glad to be here and look forward to having a conversation.
Yeah, I'm excited. I got a lot of friends that we're big into sports, and there's a lot of questions about what's going on in the landscape of college athletics and the whole picture of how athletics work now, and with money being a big part of that. We're going to dive into that and starting off, like I said before, we're going to talk about the eligibility. Back in the day, it used to be you got 5 years to play for. So now they just passed some new legislation, the NCAA did. So just talk a little bit about that. Something that's been going on for decades, it just now changed.
Yeah, I think it's 5 years to play five, and I mean there's obviously still some exceptions, but those exceptions are what you would expect around pregnancy, military service, or some other religious exemption and things like that. But outside of that, yeah, it's clear cut, and I think that's the thing that we're all looking for. I think obviously everything about the way the NCAA operated is being challenged legally, which is understandable when people's lives are impacted and the finances are impacted. But in this case, it makes it a little more clear cut. And I think the big thing that it does is it starts to create some clarity around how you build your rosters, how you prepare for taking care of your student athletes and preparing them for the next level, both academically and athletically. I think that's a big deal. You can now set and understand that when you get a student athlete, it's five. And obviously it changes, right? Like a lot of basketball student athletes with NBA rules are there for 1 year, and in women's basketball, they're typically there for 4. And you and I were just pre-chatting about what's going on with the collective bargaining agreement in Major League Baseball, and there's a possibility of there's a long way to go in that. Obviously, what was recently shared with high school players having to go to school for 2 years, it all factors in. It's all those moving parts are interesting, but now to start to get some clarity of it's 5 years to play five, it makes it a little easier.
Yeah, and I know that this whole world of reclassification of high school kids, that kind of takes that off the table if you're trying to hold them back a year, because as soon as you either turn 19 or if you as soon as you start you're enrolled and you start your freshman year, that's when the clock starts.
Exactly, and you want to think about it too. I mean, I think a lot, especially some of your elite student athletes, where do you want them to develop that? Like with the way colleges, Division I colleges across the country are investing in college athletics, and we're not even into revenue sharing or NIL yet.
Right.
The way they're investing in these facilities and their coaches and the staff. I mean, what a better place to be to grow as a person, both again academically and athletically. You'll hear me say that a lot because obviously that's what we're about.
That's what we're supposed to be about anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's at the heart of what college athletics is supposed to be about, and so it is really important, and it's good. Let's start the process.
Yeah, and talking about the reclassification, how some of that can go out the window. We talked last week about the D2, D3, JUCO, how that five, play five, we take 5 years to play five. That takes everything off the table because we've had a couple of lawsuits of Chambliss trying to get his year back from playing, I guess, D3 at JUCO. That takes everything out of the mix. And I love it because that simplifies everything. Because if you're healthy, you have 5 years to play 5 years. That's great, especially with this NIL thing. But with the if you're a JUCO, D2, D3, doesn't matter where you start. As soon as you can begin collegiate athletics, your clock starts.
Clock stops.
Yeah. So you can play JUCO 2 years. You only have 2 years, actually 3 years. Let me take that back. See, my mindset is got to get out of that. Get out of the floor because now with and what a great time to be an athlete because before you thought that once you graduated high school you would go college and play 4 years maybe and then you're done. Now it's like you can try to make a career in college.
You really can. I mean, we'll talk about something that's close to you and I in women's basketball. I mean, you look at it, obviously, the WNBA is growing, thriving,
Yeah.
and more money's coming into that from the salary perspective. But a lot of times now, you can earn at a higher level in college
Yeah.
than what you can in the WNBA. And so, like, this is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, and from a pipeline and a development system, I mean, that's what exists now. It's great for student athletes and I mean, at the core of what we all do is obviously those student athletes, and I think we got to continue to evolve college athletics in a way that supports them. I mean,
Right.
that's the lifeblood of what happens.
Right.
So
And that's in a perfect world. But of course, with and correct me if I'm wrong, if you know this, they did have passed legislation on transfer, the portal, correct? You can't just hop in and out of the portal every year, correct?
I think it's still in discussion.
Okay, I didn't know if they had.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they'd like to get it to a one-time
One-time
transfer, but I think a little bit more of that will be discussed.
And that's hard on coaches. I can't imagine being a coach not knowing if your kid is going to be your roster is going to be set for at least 2 years. I mean, and I know this is more on the men's side than it is on the women's side. It's still rampant everywhere.
I mean, you're talking about in every sport, it's free agency every year.
Yeah.
Every year. I mean, imagine if you had like I'm from Phillies fans.
Right.
Imagine if you didn't know if all, whatever 29 players weren't going to be back next year
Right.
because they could go wherever they wanted to every year.
You don't have a year to breathe.
Obviously, that doesn't happen. And to some degree, the one thing I will say that I like about it is it forces schools to be intentional about what they're doing. If you take care of your student athletes, if you approach development the right way, if you approach putting them in positions to be successful, typically your student athletes stay.
Right.
Like they chose to come to you for a reason. And yeah, like sometimes you don't develop as fast, you don't play, and then you think, okay, maybe another place is good for you. So it's not always as
Right.
linear as I'm making it. But
Right.
I like the idea that you give the student athletes a lot of flexibility to do what's best for them. But you also put the onus on these universities to do what's best for the student athletes.
Right.
And it's challenging and yes, it's dynamic. And then if we start to go into all the other things, that exist, like right now, after junior year, you can go to Major League Baseball, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when you start to factor all those different facets into what we're talking about, it can be absolute chaos. And
Yeah.
that's, if you talk to coaches right now and sat down one-on-one with them privately, that's what they'll tell you. It's chaotic. It's
Yeah.
hard. You just don't know what you're going to have every year.
Well, it's frustrating too as a fan because you really can't get invested into a team. I mean, you watch a team and you want to see them kind of gel together and grow together. And the next year it could be a whole new team. Not, a lot of the core parts that has the clout to go elsewhere to
Yeah.
chase that NIL money. It's hard as a fan, but I get it. I don't blame one kid to go after their best interest because at the end of the day, that's what everyone's doing. Even coaches, like the NC State coach goes there 1 year. Best interest is to go somewhere else. You see it on all levels.
Yeah, and I think if the schools are doing a good job and coaches are doing a good job of developing and investing in their student athletes, you're going to see more buy-in from that year over year. You and I live this world, with Duke women's basketball. I think what Coach Carol Lawson's done to invest in our team. Obviously, she took over, a team that was, middle of the pack ACC
Yeah.
and has turned it into a two-time ACC champion. But over the course of what core that's been is getting high school freshmen in, high school seniors in as freshmen and developing them and keeping them at Duke. I mean,
Right.
you're now talking at 3 years, 4-year players, and now 5-year
5-year
players,
players,
which is,
yeah.
I mean, incredible
Yeah.
when you start to think
Yeah.
about it. I think you see that return when people invest and try to do things the right way. Uh, it's important. It is.
Yeah. And like, and we're gonna talk some more later about Kara and what she's doing and the baseball coach, because there's a lot of great things happening at Duke. I'm gonna say, Duke basketball, men and women, football, ACC championships. I mean, this is a new era. I mean, and you're a big part of that, and we're gonna brag about you for a little bit in a little bit. But let's talk about the money, the NIL aspect. I know everyone's like, we know what that means, name, image, likeness, but what does that actually mean? Where's the money coming from? How are they getting paid? I mean, who's eligible? Do they sign contracts? What's the whole premise behind this NIL thing?
Yeah, I think so. Just a little bit history wise, obviously, pre the landmark legal cases that settled the house settlement, which is commonly referred to when revenue sharing was created. NIL was meant to be true third party. So, like, you have your podcast, you can earn money from it. You have, a sponsor come in and say, "Hey, I want to sponsor you or sponsor your podcast." It's an agreement between a third party and you for access to your name, image, or license and or likeness. And that is, it's been fairly common. Sponsorship is fairly common, right? Obviously, a lot of pro athletes make a ton of money from their contracts, but they make probably even more from the sponsorship and engagement side. And so, college athletes were not able to earn that before. And it was a big shift when that happened. But as you know, in any competitive environment, people are going to find ways to maximize how they can take care of their people. And that's what the way NIL evolved is, collectives were created and all of it, again, meets the legal standards of what NIL is, but it's complicated when you have big benefactors and people that are interested in seeing you succeed. It gets the big quantities of money, whether that's for autographs or whether that's for appearances or all the different things. So it evolved in a way that was, complicated and convoluted. And that's where a lot of people were kind of taken back for it. I mean, you even heard across the country about donors that were involved and really loved it. And you heard donors that were not interested in doing it all. They wanted to give to facilities and to scholarships and things like that. But the house settlement really changed the game pretty significantly. With that settlement, universities, athletic departments are able to pay, at least in year one, 20.5 million to student athletes directly for access to their name, image, and likeness. As you know, before, like when Gail was on a run and Elena was winning ACC championships, like her name and image was all over the place, and Duke wasn't necessarily paying her for that. Now, the universities are entering in revenue sharing agreement contracts up to 20.5 with student athletes for access to their NIL. And each school is able to utilize that and define it however they want to define it. It doesn't, like, some schools put it all to football, some can put it all to men's basketball, some to women's basketball, some to baseball. Like, I'm sure there's schools out there that are putting a lot of money to volleyball.
Right.
And you watch, what brings the TV viewers, what brings the revenue, and that's where you're seeing people kind of investing differently. And then the reality is, again, in a competitive environment, that's never enough. And that'll increase 4% every year. It'll be renegotiated as things go. And I'm sure with all the legal challenges that are out there in the system, you could see that evolve in the next 2 or 3 years too, as well. But it's never enough. So when you're trying to put together a roster, people are thinking about, how do I maximize how I take care of my student athletes? And that's what you're seeing. I mean, and so you're seeing a lot more true third party NIL is what you call it, where again, sponsor, XYZ sponsor signs a separate contract with Bob Wiseman.
One person.
Yeah, with Bob Wiseman to go promote their thing. Now, the way that works now, that has to go through the CSC, the College Sports Commission, and they evaluate it for fair market value and reasonableness. And what they'll typically have is they'll come back and say, "Yep, this is good. We agree." And then as long as they fulfill, the payment happens.
I was wondering if there's any guardrails around all this.
They've done in my opinion, they've done a good job of trying to figure out. It's hard to define. In my opinion, it's hard to define fair market value, right? Like, it really, as you go out there, what does that student athlete mean to that brand? Like, if the brand is willing to pay them that, then they obviously feel like they have market value, right? But They're trying to, you know, do a good job of taking it all in. They're working with all the data they can possibly get, and they evolve and they get better. And yeah, people are challenging it. That's everything
Yeah.
in college sports right now is challenging, which is good. Like
Yeah.
challenging is good in terms of trying to figure it out. So, yeah, they're working through on evolving through that, and CSC works with you to typically give you feedback. Hey, this doesn't meet fair market value. This is what has to be adjusted, and then go back and they decide if they want to update it, and then if they do, they resubmit it, and then once the
Okay.
deal's signed, that's when they're providing the student athletes providing the deliverable, and in return, the market or the brand is getting their what they want out of it, which is essentially marketing. So
Okay.
yeah.
And quick question about, third party. Now, is that the only way to get NIL? I know that usually like if a player has a jersey in the store and someone buys their jersey, do they get money from that jersey sale?
Yeah. So they basically are licensing that to
Okay.
their
Using
name,
it.
image, exactly. And so they're typically that's a negotiated deal, and they get return on that. There's other things. There's I would say not third party, but true first party. So like, uh, youth players can contract, not necessarily contract, but they can hire student athletes to do lessons,
Right.
right? You can do
Right.
different camps and things like that. All those different things exist out there. And the other thing is important to note right now is a student athlete can hire an agent and go source these third party and idealists. The university is also permitted to service a marketing agent. So as long as the student athlete wants us to, we can go out, and so let's say we have agreements with XYZ apparel company or shoe company and say, okay, do you want to enter in agreements? And we can help facilitate that for them. And so like, for just using baseball as an example, right? We're in the midst of a project, or developing a player performance center. We have a lot of new technologies in that. We'd be foolish if we were not having conversations with these companies about, hey, we're going to have some of the elite talent. We have one of the best player development coaches in the world. We're going to be implementing your technology. This is a great marketing opportunity for you, and trying to get those
Right.
brand deals for them. And so that is what I would say a majority of what you see outside of agent NIL is what universities
Okay.
acting as a third party.
And again, that just piggybacks what you were saying. If you do a good job of taking care, they'll stick around.
And that's
Yeah.
it. I mean, that's what everyone's trying to do. It's to
Yeah.
continue to show up and invest. And again, I think people always felt like facilities would get lost in this. They felt like the student athlete experience would get lost in this. None of it gets lost. Like now the student athletes are, starting to earn what they need to do. And schools are having to show up for them still every day when in terms of creating spaces that they can develop and get better, that they can, really activate in. And then you also got to have the support structure around them that makes sure they're taken care of. Because the other part is this is a lot of money. It's life-changing money.
Yeah.
For some people, it's not. But once they have that money, you've got to help educate them and put them in the right position to be successful.
And that's huge, especially if they look like after college into the pros, because some of these guys go into the pros not knowing how to handle a dollar because they didn't have it in college.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all broken in college, so then we get handed millions of dollars. So this is kind of a good segue for those athletes.
We were just having a conversation the other day. There's like 24,000, I think, Major League Baseball players in history. All of those 24,000, I think about 1,400 had a 10-year career to where they're,
Wow.
Vested and
Yeah.
get their pension, right? Like that is a tiny
Tiny.
number.
Yes.
And so when you start to think about preparing, like really doing right by these kids and preparing them, like we're doing better now in the collegiate system. Is it perfect? No. Is it evolving? Yes. But we're doing better by the students and athletes and helping them prepare. And so having them in the academic environment, really focus on helping them to start to work towards their degree in some cases, or to hopefully get their degree, and then combining it with this earning potential and the ability then to provide support around that is a really big deal to set them up for life. It puts them in a really strong position. And it's obviously why I'm bullish on Duke and why I think we're one of the few schools in the country that a lot of schools are doing it really well. I don't say that, but why I think we're doing it really well is we are always committed to investing in the total student athlete, academically, athletically, and in the future.
Because we're the best. But so quick, for me, just as my own little scenario. So if I went out and got myself a whole bunch of Tabron basketball jerseys, number 10, and I took them to Campbell University, um, uh, bookstore,
Yeah.
and someone bought it for $50. How much money am I getting?
That's a good question. How good of a negotiator are you? You know, you got to set up. You got to get an agent. You know, maybe we'll hire some friends. We'll get some friends to
I'm
be your
just curious.
market. Yeah.
I think
No,
I,
I mean,
I think my name has some traction somewhere.
yeah, somewhere. Well, I don't know you. I mean, you're obviously involved in some of the Duke alumni stuff too, and we had put out, I think, it was Kara's second year, put out to the alums like, hey, do you want New Jersey to be available? And so, like, when you go online, you can click down and pick some of the alum jerseys, and they'll get royalties on them for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna try that. Yeah, but let's brag a little bit about Duke. You know, like being in the triangle, that's the fun thing about, you know, being a sports fan. And you're either Duke State or Carolina, and yes, I'm a Dookie. Let's just talk about things that's happened since you've been there. What year did you get to?
Oh, I've been there 18 years. Feels
So
like a long time.
I was at Duke from 95 to 2001, and I thought that it was like the best athletic facilities. One, because of Cameron, which is still, Cameron is never going to change other than the outskirts. But I thought it was great. And then, you know, I step away from Duke for about a couple of years. I go work at UPS. Then I come back in like 10, 15 years, and I look around and I'm like, what happened? And then I heard about this man named Bob. And I'm like, well, good. I'm glad we got Bob. Where'd you come from, Bob?
So I came from, I went to school at Lynchburg College, now the University of Lynchburg. I'm not used to calling it that yet. But I originally went to play college baseball, but didn't end up playing. And so I focused on the sports. I knew I wanted to work in sports, so did a lot there at Lynchburg, and then got hired at Villanova afterwards. I spent just short of 8 years up at Villanova in a number of roles: sports information, marketing, facilities, and operations, and then came down to Duke and have been here now 18 years. So.
And I thank Villanova for giving you all that experience because, it means a lot when you go back as an alum and just see all the improvement, all the progress that you didn't even know could exist on our campus because we just always thought it was small but you guys have done a great job of just making it state of the art. So when kids come on on their recruiting visits, it's like, wow, how can I not want to come to this university?
I give a lot of credit to the university. I think obviously our leadership, you know, my time there with Kevin White, now Nina King, but also President Broadhead, President Price have really done a really good job. And our board of trustees too have been unbelievable in their support of athletics. I think those that know Duke and know college campuses and the combination of academic and athletics, there are only a handful across the country that do it in a similar manner. And to be an elite world-class university and to have elite collegiate athletics is I mean, it's rare.
Yeah.
It's really rare. And I think everyone in the system understands how rare that is and how incredible it can be when it's done at a really high level. And, you know, I always say Duke is a work hard, play hard place. And the university and its community definitely gets behind and embraces the play hard portion, which is the college athletics piece. And not to mention the marketing vehicle high level college athletics can be, but
that's why we are known all across the world because of our athletics.
Yeah, helps. I mean, obviously global impact, you know, just from the academic side, but also global impact from the sports side. And it's unique and special. And that buy-in has been huge. I mean, none of us could do what we do every day without the support from the top and the financial resources and the investment. The one thing I'll brag on right now is like, everyone talks about Duke just won, you know, what we call the three revenue sports: men's basketball, women's basketball, football, won 3 straight championships.
Yeah.
I always take it a step farther. We won 5 straight, right? The women won, the men won, football won, the women won, the men won. 5 straight revenue sport championships. In this time of college athletics, with everything that's going on, whether a rule change every 3 days or whatever it feels like, and different eligibility rules and all this chaos and money flying around, one of the elite academic schools in the country is now sitting here changing the game competitively. It's a big deal. And again, it's like, you know, we talk about it a lot in recruiting. We talk about it when we recruit staff and coaches. And honestly, when you're having rough days, you step back and you think about, like, is there any other place you want to be? And it's hard to imagine wanting to be at someplace different because it's a place that proves itself day in and day out. And yes, it's the people executing it. Yes, it's the people buying in, but it's the place, and it's its overall mystique and aura of what it creates, and what opportunities it creates for you too as well.
Well, and I can attest for that. I mean, I've been kind of off the grid with my support of Duke, especially the women's basketball program, but I've made a commitment to come back in, and anytime I can, I want to come out and support it. And I'm very proud of where we've come as an athletic department. We had a great family when I was there, and just know that the closeness of the athletic department is a big reason why Duke is great. Because back in the day when we played games, we were at everybody's game. I would go watch Kirsten lacrosse team. We would go watch the men's lacrosse team, the soccer team. It was a great community and tight knit. And I know it might be a little different now. Everyone's not in the same in building, but that speaks to now everyone has their own building. Like before, we were in Cameron along with the soccer team and the some other teams. So we had a good tight knit, community. But I'm really proud to know that everyone has their own little spot on campus now where they can spread out, and it's not, we're not all sitting on top of each other.
I mean, that's what staggering change in investment in facilities, but in doing so, never get out of who we are, right? Like I think we try to remember on a regular basis that we are due. Like we're not going to have 100,000 seat football stadium or even a 20,000 seat basketball stadium. We have Cameron Indoor. That's our spot, right? Like, and I think we try to stay true to ourselves all the time, but we need to invest in elite facilities that help us develop players and people. And I mean, that's been at the core of what we've been doing for a long time. I'll say, it's different. Like you have to get very comfortable in it, and you have to be there. But like with even kind of these different facilities, our student athletes have a hub, and it's like we always joke about it. It's like, oh, you're on the athletics campus, right? Now you're in Duke University, and it is what it is. But it's like a little Olympic sport village. It's like being in, you were just at Cooperstown, we were just at Cooperstown. It's like when you're in athletics at Duke, you feel like you're in this little community, and that helps make it special.
It really does.
And
Well, but I'm not gonna let you go. I want you to brag a little bit about what we got coming up. What's happening now? Like Coach Kara's doing some great things. Our new baseball coach is doing some great things. Just brag a little bit about, what we got coming up.
Yeah, I mean,
Thanks, guys.
what a what a 2-year run for Kara, and I mean taking over this program and really reestablishing it. I mean, lucky to have it. I think our season ticket growth is up over 30%.
Right.
Revenue's up, which is obviously good when you want to build a program. She's done an amazing job in player retention. She's done an amazing job in the transfer portal, and and recruiting, I should say too. I mean, she's had now I think 4 top 10 or better classes. This most recent one, top 5 class. She had a huge get in the transfer portal of Leah Crump out of Texas.
Okay.
And now preseason, I hate preseason rankings because it always makes you nervous, but they got you in the top 4. That's a good place to be,
Place to start.
And I mean, a round of 32, a Sweet 16, 2 straight Elite Eights. It's pretty incredible, and I think you've been to Cameron a few times, and those that come, the game day experience has really evolved now with the Champions Club and the pregame radio show, the 2 brass bars. And I think the true testament of what the community is buying in. And I also want to say her and the players are doing a good job of trying to get out more in the community and engage more in the community, because they realize the future of this program and the future of creating, other women leaders is to have an impact on the people around you. But the true testament for me was this past year with our NCAA tournament game. It was Friday at 11 a.m., that first round game, and I was like, oh man, what are we going to do? People are at work and no one's going to show up, and this is going to be rough. It's going to be a little dead. You're on national TV. And we had 4,500 people at 11 a.m. on a Friday, and it blew me away how far the program has come, how far they have done, and then obviously it was a vaulting spot. Yet last year was a rough year to start. I mean, we were playing really elite competition, but really took off. And I hope the community continues to see what's happening in Durham and Cameron, and support her and women that are out there every day, and I think hopefully this is going to be a special year.
I'm
And
excited
they
about it.
continue to lead.
Thanks, Rob. Hopefully we can get over the hump, the Elite Eight hump, and get to the Final Four and fight for that top spot because we haven't had it yet for the women. We've been there close. We've been knocking on the door,
Yeah.
but we haven't been able to snatch the big one yet. So hopefully this team can do it.
Well, you know more than a lot of other people, and I took care of this after my first year with her. Once you get to the Sweet 16, it's crazy. I mean, the
Yeah.
parity is unbelievable, and it really comes down to matchups and how you're playing,
Exactly.
and like how'd you sleep that night,
Yeah.
how meal, like there are a lot of variables that go into it. And obviously, we've been really close against South Carolina 2 years ago, and this year against obviously we're up against
Right,
UCLA.
UCLA, and really had it. I thought we were going to win that one. I mean,
We were, but they
right
were
there.
they were good. They
I
deserved
think
to win the
I
national
think the
championship.
second half they were like they remember. Hey, wait a minute.
Their execution
we're
was
we're awesome. Yeah.
they were elite. So, but yeah, it really good. And then on the other side, obviously, what Chris Pollard did here for many years was to reestablish Duke baseball was huge.
Yeah.
We've had donors step up in a big way. We're building a really incredible player performance facility. The steel is up. It actually looks like it's building right now, so it's getting pretty.
It was coming down the last time I went there. I saw them tearing everything down.
And so we are arming Corey Mascara, or as we all affectionately call him, Moose, with the tools that he needed. Obviously, those of you who don't know, he was the assistant coach at Wake, and the simplest thing I'll say is because I was on the search committee, is we I think had 16 standing head coaches in Division I college baseball interview. We had a few as high-level assistant coaches, and Corey flew them all, where it was unbelievable with his vision, not only for the program, but how Duke can be successful. And a little snippet of the story, we talked about, everyone used to always talk about why Duke couldn't, you can't have football with elite academics. David Cutcliffe walked in and was like, we're going to flip the script. This is a 40-year decision, right? And you can tell right away when people see the academic piece, or maybe, you don't have, Alabama or Georgia type money, and say, oh, well, maybe you can't be successful there. And there's people that don't worry about any of that and just know how to get stuff done.
Right.
And you could see it. He could talk, if you know, and he gets after it, but he does an unbelievable job of portraying the vision. And I've been lucky enough to sit in a few recruiting visits with him and families, and his ability to sell the future of the program, but not only that, to provide a path for these student athletes to generate leaders and men is fantastic. And now with the donor support, to give them a facility with elite development technology and tools, and he's an analytics guy, he's a data guy, and he knows what to do with it. And New Force pitching lab, traject hitting lab, obviously TrackMan, all these elite technologies that we'll have in place that we've talked about, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. We haven't publicly shared what the roster looks like for next year. Obviously, the MLB draft is still coming up, so there's still some more variables and all of that.
I'm excited to see. I mean, Isaiah James, I don't know if you know that kid. My nephew, they grew up together, played together, so I'm excited to see what happens with him. But I'm excited to see everything about Duke baseball because I just read about him being the assistant at Wake, and I know what success Wake has had, and to see the impact he's already had in his first year, I'm excited to see what he's going to do with us.
I mean, if you didn't look nowhere else alone, I mean, Aiden Weaver, the guy close, he's a kid from Jamison, PA, right next to where I grew up, went to my high school. Aiden came out in his freshman year with Chris, was pitching, but was struggling to find the strike zone a little bit. And then he had a couple of years that were I would say down for Aiden's level. And then what Corey did to make him a Friday night starter, elite, I think I saw a stat. He had his changeup in which he used this year was the second most, had the highest swing and miss percentage of all NCAA baseball. And that's pretty crazy with where he came from. And he was in the zone all year, and he had some unbelievable outings, including even in the ACC tournament against Virginia when he held them to just a couple runs. And it's a perfect example of what Corey can do and his assistant coaches can do when they're given the tools and the talent. And when you combine that with the vision and the work ethic that he has, the future of Duke baseball is really bright.
I'm excited. Well, Bob, I know you got a lot going on back in Durham. Anything you want to add, or?
No, I appreciate the time today, and always good to talk about college athletics. It's definitely, I think the thing for everybody to know is it's variable. And I think
Yeah.
everybody across the country, every school, every leader, every coach, every student athlete, we're all learning and evolving together. And I think for those that you root for, whether it's Carolina State, Duke, Wake, whatever it is, everyone is trying to figure out what the next step
Yeah.
is. But at the core of it, it's about the kid. It's about the student athlete in the future. And I think, it all seems like a lot from the outside, but at the end of the day, it's really about developing people. And that's what college is all about.
Well, I'm excited. I'm proud to be a part of the Duke family. I'm very, very honored that you came out today because I know, you got a lot going on campus. I mean, this man is Duke athletics wrapped up into one. He's got a great staff behind him, but the vision and your expertise on how an athletic department should be ran, that really comes from you. And I'm very proud that you came out to talk to us. And this will not be your last time. I told him, I said, we can either do it here or we can do it mid-court at camp. And he said, there's kids running around at camp. And I said, well,
We'll get a little louder.
yeah. But appreciate you coming out, brother.
No problem.
All right. And he's got his mom, his dad, his son. He's got some hawks. I mean, he's got like a good entourage here. So just happy you came out. Just appreciate you.
No problem. My pleasure. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
No
Thank you so much. Bob Weiseman, everybody. Give it up. We're gonna wrap it up, but before we do, we're gonna bring on the owner and talk a little bit about what we got going on, this excitement that's happening.
Hey, Shanta.
Hey, Teresa, welcome back. It's been a couple weeks since I say you. I know I've been out of town, Cooperstown, and now we're back and we're in the thick of it now with the World Cup. So let's talk about what you got going on.
Well, we got the game tonight,
Yes.
8 o'clock. That's all that's on my mind right now. Have to win this. I heard this morning, how many years since we've gone to the to the next
can't even
round?
tell you. I was gonna look it up, but it's been a long time.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's been some surprises in the last couple of days with teams that have made some upsets.
Yeah.
Advanced to further than they've ever been.
Yeah, the favorites aren't shoe-ins anymore. Back in the day, you always depend on on paper they should win, but but I watched Mbappe a little bit yesterday,
Yeah.
and I'm like, he's a
He's
problem.
incredible.
He's a problem.
Wow.
We gotta be on our P's and Q's if we ever get up to that point. But first, we do have to win tonight.
Yes.
So was Bosnia tonight.
Yep.
8 o'clock.
We'll have the game on sound. Everybody have their USA gear on, screaming and yelling. So come out and join us.
We got to get this one. I mean, it's exciting to watch the World Cup anyway, but when your country is still in it, vying for it, it takes it up a notch. Because the World Cup is an incredible event, and it's the highest level. And you only see it once every 4 years. And every game, you might have a blowout here and there, but it never seems difficult for the level of competition and level of play.
Yep, I have had the opportunity to see a little bit of most of the games, and it has been very fun to watch. Very fun. I'm really nervous about tonight.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about who we're playing. It's just we got to win, and nervous about it just because I want us to win so bad.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Never heard of Bosnia? Doesn't matter. I mean, it's variables in these games. In a lot of these goals, it's inches.
Mm-hmm.
Inches from the goalie getting his finger on it, or to inches of hitting the goalpost. But it's exciting, and some people who don't like soccer, like I said, if you're a casual fan and don't care for it, just sit down and watch a game, because
Absolutely.
even though the game might end up in 1-0, 1-0, there's still a lot of action that happened in that game. So
Absolutely.
I say, come out to McKinley's to root on USA.
It's a great conversation with Bob.
Yeah.
I didn't get to hear all of it, and I wanted to learn everything I need to know about NIL, but I heard a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But just to listen to him talk about Duke athletics, and I know you were a part of that, so that was, and especially some of the technology they were using. I remember when I was in college playing basketball, we just went to the gym and shot practice, play.
Right. Exactly.
Did some strength training.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine what it must be like to play sports
Now.
these days
Yes.
at a major school. So that was really cool to listen to.
Yeah, he's the best, and I tell you, this is incredible what he's done there. Again, with the support of the staff and the ADs, but it's just fun to go. Like I always call him my ambassador of fun, because this past fall, AJ couldn't play baseball, so I was trying to get to as many of the football games as I could because I knew the atmosphere had changed. Because we used to go to the football games, it would be, maybe a couple of hundred people, but it's now, it's an event.
Yes.
It's really nice. So, just happy to have them on. But, somebody else has had, I talked earlier about July babies. We weren't here. I said, this is July 1st. This is
Yours is right around the corner.
Yeah, but yours is too. So
I'm skipping mine this year.
no, you're not. No, you're not. We got some big ones. I'm not gonna tell our ages.
Yeah.
I'm not telling the ages, but happy birthday to you.
Yes, happy birthday to you.
July babies.
And what about LeBron leaving? Can you believe?
Well, I mean, he's got to make a headline somewhere and stick it around another
Where do
year.
you think it's gonna go?
Yeah, I think he and Steph might try to hook up before they go into retirement. I don't know, but it's going to be.
Try and do it one more time.
Yeah, he needs a headline. So there you go.
Yes.
But I saw Serena play yesterday.
Oh my! I watched every bit of that.
It was it. You know what? After being out for 4 years and being 44, hats off to you, Serena.
I mean, the way she came back and won the second set to go to 3.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah, because she
That
was
was
pretty much
impressive.
she was dead in the water. I thought in the second set
Mhm.
as joint.
Yeah.
She pretty much had a handle on it, but then Serena just dug in, and she was
Yeah,
able to
that
get
was-
that tiebreaker. And
That was fun to watch
Yeah.
until the last few games. But
it's like she almost gave out of gas. But but kudos to her for coming back. I guess competing in your 40s is no longer taboo.
yes.
Tom Brady, breaking the seal of being 45 playing. Of course, now Rogers and, Lindsey Vaughn comes back in her 40s to play a high level. And we're talking about high level sports. We're not talking about
We're talking Wimbledon.
Wilmington. Yeah. In Wilmington. We're not talking about getting off the couch and joining the YMCA at 45. No.
Like you and I tried to do and almost
Yeah,
failed
and
ourselves.
almost died. But we're here to talk about it. But yeah, they're coming, they're either maintaining in their 40s or coming back from, to in their 40s to compete at a high level, and kudos to all of them.
But I think that's what, we're talking about technology and training regimens and the way people, learn about their bodies and train, and maintain. It's a whole different ballgame.
Well, we're gonna wrap it up, but again, thank you so much for opening up your doors. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. There's a lot to the world of sports than just being on the field. There's so much to this game, even on the collegiate level now. I mean, college is now just a minor leagues for the pros now.
It's one of the things that I did hear Bob talk about, which made me happy to hear, was about still, not losing the focus on the student athlete, the student part of academics, and keeping them engaged and providing them with tools that they need to be successful as they start to, they're starting earlier, making money, generating that income. I was encouraged by that.
Yep. Well, we're gonna wrap it up, and excited to come back next Wednesday before we head off to the beach.
That's right. Let's go.
I'm so excited. But until next Wednesday, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you again, Teresa. Thank you again, Bob, for coming out to share your expertise with us. And until next Wednesday, who need one?
Thanks, Chantal.